do some lateral flexion now. And so slide one hand down one rein, make sure the other rein is totally loose, and lift that hand up and in front of the pommel of the saddle. Good. But soft and slow. Be real soft and slow with this. And actually bring that nose all the way around, almost to your leg. That's good. And you don't really care where the horse goes. So the object, lift up a little more, Lisa, in front of the saddle. There. Good. And let me show you guys something though. Stop right where you are, Amy. This is something really important, and everybody watching, this is a way all of us can help horses a lot if people would understand this. And people wouldn't do it if they understood what they were doing was wrong. But, in lateral flight, the tip of the ears stay level. At the moment they start coming out of level, he can't go any farther than that without twisting his neck. And we don't want to twist their neck. We're not here to twist their neck, right? We're here to get them to give softly. So, and you can do this lateral flexion standing still. So just always slide your hand down first, because that's just a polite warning that you're about to pick up on the rein. When the horse has a warning that you're about to pick up on the rein, he will give to it before the contact comes. If there's no warning, he doesn't get that option. So the warning always, before you go to turn or stop, you slide that hand down the rein, and then softly and slowly pick up on it. And you want to come up on that rein. Never is it correct to pull down on a rein. Why? What will we be pulling him to? His forehand. So we're always trying to lighten the forehand. We're never trying to make the forehand heavier. So any downward pull on the rein would be counterproductive to anything you ever want to do with a horse. So you want to slide that hand down slowly and softly. If I need to, because this horse has never done this before, I might start with a little sideways pull to get the nose started in that direction. But then I want to come up and in front of the pommel of the saddle. It's called the indirect rein. And go ahead, lateral flex for me in both directions. But as you do it, just make sure the tips of the ears remain level, and make sure you are not penalizing the horse with the outside rein. Make the outside rein totally loose. Good. Okay, now, so lateral means side. So there is a common belief that says lateral flexion leads to vertical flexion. So now I want you to start walking. Let's everybody track left. And do the same thing. So while you're moving, ask the horse to flex his neck to the side. It may cause a turn, it may not. Once your horse understands that you're just flexing his neck, he might still go straight while you do that. That's a stage, actually, of training. As our horses advance, we start requiring them to go straight while we do lateral flexion, and that's called hinging. Okay. Make sure you're not restricting with the outside rein. And, okay, so we're going to flex to the right and flex to the left. And in almost all instances, when you start laterally flexing, the head starts coming down. And we talked extensively yesterday about how this is a calming behavior. Lateral flexion, good. It will bring calmness and is soothing to the horse. That's why we want to make sure we do it slow and gentle and never fast or harsh or punishing. And also, once your horse gives willingly and softly, you don't have to do it a lot anymore because he's got it. Only time I would do it, like Dorothy we talked about yesterday, your horse, she when she works herself up into the drama, do some lateral flexion. But it's soften that outside rein. So the more bend you get in the neck, the more it's going to soften her. Okay. Yeah, that's because you're holding the outside rein. So, and she goes up there, she goes along, fine, relax, and all of a sudden she goes up there, and she's working herself up. But, and you were, so one thing was you were restricting her with the outside rein. So, and you want to, this comes up and in. But they know exactly how much slack is on that outside rein, and they know exactly when they're going to come to contact. So I oftentimes, I will loosen the reins in such a way to just tell the horse, there's no way I'm going to touch that rein. I'm going to give you all the rein. And you may think you're not going to use the outside rein, and you may think to yourself, as soon as that horse gives his neck, I'll release it. But he doesn't know that. He just knows your action has been this way, but you're not giving him the freedom to do it. All right, focus now. Got some posture happening there. Shoulders long and relaxed. Looks good, Lisa. Sitting that back. Got your chi working for you. Got your chi going first. Good, Virginia. I see that chi. Good, Jen. Kind of a different feeling, isn't it? You know, I learned that trick because, like everyone else in this world, if I enter the show ring, I'm getting nervous. And not nervous, afraid, but like you're just uptight and, you know, oh my God, I want to do, what's everybody going to think? And so, and like everybody else in the world, when I get tense, I do this. Close the pelvis, get the shoulders in front of the hips. So I was telling you yesterday about chi walking, remember that? And I didn't tell you the rest of that story, which is, after I learned about chi walking and chi running, I was in the airport watching Airport CNN. And it was back, this was years ago when they were having the big controversy over the supermodels in Europe being too skinny. And so they were doing a story on that. So the background picture was supermodels walking down the runway. Well, here's how a supermodel walks. Hips first. And I'm like, oh my God, they're chi walking. And I'm like, supermodel, the supermodel, that's all I need to think about. So when I go into the show ring and I feel my nerves coming up, I say to myself, supermodel. And I walk in that ring like this. So, but play with that chi first, it's a different, really different feel. And now you're in your back body more. And you're not getting in front of the horse. So you have a little more synchronization between your center of gravity and the horse's center of gravity. It's a different look, isn't it, for you guys watching? You can see when they're doing it. Yes, a lot. Because the trick to the sitting trot, the harder the trot is to sit, the more behind vertical you want to go. Because the more you open your pelvis joint, so the more range of motion. You watch those high-level dressage riders on those big, gargantuan warm bloods that are coming 2-3 feet off the ground when they're trot stride, and they're way behind vertical to stay with those horses. And of course, I mean the vertical of the torso of the rider. In most instances, you want to be riding vertical. Even you jumper types, the leapers. And I was brought up that way. Today we don't teach hunt seat that way. But we rode, for a good 45 minutes in a dressage seat, in the balance seat, before anyone ever let you go over a jump. And so all riders, that's beautiful, Amy. All riders, I don't care if you're a hunt seat rider, you ought to be able to ride in a balance frame, in a balance seat. So the balance seat is the vertical. And I have worked with many hunt seat riders that just flat cannot do it. They cannot sit down on a horse. They cannot do this. If you can't do that, you can't school dressage. If you don't school dressage, your horse isn't very well trained. So in the trot motion, as the cue to trot. Very nice. Let that horse move forward unrestricted. Well, not you. Everyone but Dorothy? Good. Then Dorothy, just kind of bring her onto a big circle around me. And just keep her on the circle. I want you to start lifting your left hand up and yeah. Now soften the outside hand. Just keep her on the circle until as you lift up on it, turn your, good. Good. Soften and ask her a little, shorten that left rein. Good. And see, she's got to let go of that brace in her neck, but keep asking until she does. Now maybe take her the other, there. Good play out rein. As soon as that head starts coming down, you start playing out the rein. As soon as it comes out like that. So as we're trying to eliminate that head up tension, she cannot put her head down too low. So the lower she wants to go, the more reins you give her. And as her head starts coming up, take the reins away. You're tracking left now? No, right. Right.
I thought so. That's why I went that way.
Okay. Aren't we nice. Very nice. Okay. Good. I want you to prepare to circle right at the trot. You're going to have to use probably more than half of the arena to make a nice trot circle. Take note of where you leave the rail, because if your circle is round, you should come back to the rail at the same place. So go ahead, when you find a mark, and make a circle to the right. And get halfway around that circle, you should be directly opposite your mark. Check in with it. Amy, that was the sorriest circle I ever saw. I think that's the letter D.
I was looking for a spot to circle.
Don't worry, all the other horses are circling too. So theoretically, this should work if everybody makes a circle at the same time, but not always. Good. So halfway around, you should be checking back at your mark. So let's try that again. Everybody on the rail, tracking right. A circle is only round when it begins and ends in the same place. So there's all these markers in the arena. I would wait until you're at one of those orange markers. Technically speaking, you ought to put your horse on the arc, right shoulder. And this is called the indirect rein behind the withers. Good, Amy. And it moves the hip of the horse. Feel that? Okay. So to bend that horse, we were reaching up and in front of the pommel. Now, think of cross your heart, Lisa. So you're coming this direction. So the indirect rein in front of the withers was that bending aid I was showing you for lateral flexion. The indirect rein behind the withers, you just add backward pull to that, and it moves the hip of the horse. Good, Jen. Feel that? So when the horse crosses his hind legs, that's called disengagement of the hindquarters. There. And it's a very distinctive feel in the horse's back. And so that rein aid controls the hip of the horse. Good, Pat. But that indirect rein in front of the withers moves the shoulder of the horse. So if you kind of switch back and forth, between in front of the pommel and then coming behind it, you'll feel the different parts of the horse's body move. So the indirect rein in front of the withers moves the shoulders. The indirect rein behind the withers moves the hip. So let's say I'm asking my horse the leg yield. The shoulder starts moving and not the hips. Kind of start bringing that hand back a little bit and move the hip there. With the outside rein, just what you did, except you just have to be a little quicker on it. Good, good. And release it. When you feel a little bit of response, release it, especially if this is not something you regularly ask. So, good. So, a little up more on it, Amy, but you have the right idea. So the shoulder was going a little bit faster than the hips. So we're going to pick up that. Callie, just start riding. Just mix right in here. And we'll give these horses a little break in a minute. I haven't seen her fussing with that bit, Virginia. Yeah. Oh, well. Well, you need a bit, Debbie. Okay, so now we're getting a little more body control. Close the rein on the neck with your right hand. You're going to reach forward with your right hand as you close the rein against the neck, and it is the touch of the rein on the neck that is the cue to turn. But if he does not know that cue to turn, your active rein aid is then going to be the leading rein. So bring your horse into a circle using the leading rein and the neck rein. And at no time does your hand ever cross midline when you're riding two-handed. So and try that a few more times. So open with your left hand, close with the right hand, lay the rein against the neck, and it is the touch of the rein on his neck that is the cue to turn, and he has to learn that. But so what you're doing right now is you're turning him with the leading rein, but you're applying the neck rein just so he gets used to it. So he starts associating. So if every time I do the leading rein, I also do the neck rein, then pretty soon I can hold him in the turn with the neck rein. So as you keep making these circles, they'll pull on the neck rein. It's the touch of the rein on his neck, and no more than that. So if you keep doing these circles, leading rein, neck rein, pretty soon you ought to be able to hold the horse in the turn with the neck rein. So you start your turn with both reins, hold the neck rein there and release the leading rein, and then correct the nose as needed with the leading rein, but see if you can hold him around the turn.